I'm Matthew Tankersley, technical trainer with Henny, and today we're going to be changing out the selector valve motor from a Gen 2 to a Gen 4 on LVG 200 series gas unit. For this work today, we're going to be working in a zero energy state, meaning unplugged and disconnected from gas. So make sure you have it disconnected, unplugged before performing any work. You may also want to let the unit cool down if possible to prevent any burns or other injuries. Let's look at the tools and equipment needed to perform this work. For this work, you'll need kit number 140776. That's going to include your selector valve motor, your adapter plate, your adapter linkage, associated hardware, and a new wiring harness that's going to include power and encoder. The tools you'll need will be a 3/16 Allen wrench, 5/32 Allen wrench, a ratchet with an extension, a 5/16 socket, a 3/8 socket, and either a 1/4 socket or wrench. We'll be using a wrench today, and your Phillips head screwdriver. The first step is going to be to disconnect the encoder motor from the AIF board. For that, we'll enter our far right door. Let's take a closer look. For this, we've already removed our cover by way of 2 Phillips head screws at the top and the bottom, and just slide forward. This is our encoder harness right here. There's a tab on the underside. You'll just push up, pinch, and pull out. Now we'll move to the back and disconnect the power. Now we'll disconnect the power from the Molex connection right here. Pinch on the sides, pull straight out, and we'll remove our strain relief from the encoder harness right here. 3/8 nut. Now we'll switch to our 5/16 socket and start removing the 3 screws that hold on the fan motor. Here, here, and here. Now that we have those removed, we're going to drop the fan out of place. You may have to cut a couple zip ties to get the length you need, but you should just be able to rest it on the ground with the leads. Now that we've removed our fan motor, we have access to our Gen 2 selector valve body and motor. With a Phillips head screwdriver, remove the 2 screws to remove the cover plate. This just drops down and comes out of the machine. Set it aside. Now that the cover's removed, we'll move to our 4 Allen head screws at each corner. We'll be using our 5/32 Allen wrench for this. With our 4 screws removed, at this point we should be able to lift the entire motor and cover housing at the same time. Remove the Gen 2 motor from the machine. With the motor removed, we're going to move to our adapter plate. Please note that on this training unit, we only have 2 screws in there. In the field, there will be 4. With our 5/32 Allen wrench, we're going to remove these 4 screws from the adapter plate. With the screws removed, we can pull the adapter plate completely off the valve body. Please ensure that you align the selector valve with port 10. On this 2-well system, port 10 faces towards the front of the machine. On larger units, port 10 will aim towards the first vat. With our new adapter plate, we can look and see an indexing pin on the underside of the plate. This pin will align with this hole on the selector valve. We'll place this in place. And we'll drop our adapter linkage into slot. From here, we'll take our 2 3/16 screws that are provided in the kit and use them to attach our adapter plate. Run them down until snug. And then tighten to ensure a good connection. With our adapter plate installed, now we will install our new all-in-one harness to the AIF board and the power supply. The power harness just needs to be on the outside of the box, but the encoder harness needs to feed through the anti-short into the box, where we will reconnect it on the port on the AIF board. First, let's connect our power before we move to the front of the unit. The encoder harness connects just as the old one did. Now we'll move back to the back and connect our motor. With our new selector valve motor in hand, we're going to connect the harness, pushing in until it clicks. At that point, we'll turn on the machine for a brief moment to allow it to index. Once its rotations are complete, you'll remove power again and install the motor on the selector valve. Keep in mind, there's only one way this can go on. Notice the 3 bolt holes line up with the adapter plate, meaning this can only be installed in one direction. We'll take our 3 screws included in the kit and install those. These are 1/4 inch. Please do not over tighten. Once our selector valve motor is installed, we'll do some cable management, zip tying up where needed. We'll reconnect our vacuum switch hose. Now we're going to reinstall our fan motor. I like to use the front screw to hold it in place. With everything installed, now we will replace our back cover, which we already had removed, and replace our AIF cover, and you'll be ready for operation. This concludes our video. Be safe out there, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content like this.